brother, yeah. My brother, yeah.
Hey. Welcome back to Brothas from Inglewood podcast, coming to you live and direct. I'm Hoopie, your host. Looking forward to introducing some fresh content on the day. But look, before I do, I'm going to ask if you would like, subscribe, share, ring the notification button so you will be abreast as to when we're airing a new episode. Listen, it has been a really fantastic summer thus far. We just celebrated the 4th of July, and then prior to that, we celebrated the official day of summer. We've been experiencing quite a few heat waves here in Southern California, but nothing to be alarmed about, nothing irregular about it, although I know that they've been experiencing sweltering heat back east as well as in the south. And you can always expect that type of humidity in the south. But it's been a interesting ride because a lot of the things that have been going on this summer has been refreshing and fun. I haven't gotten a chance to travel abroad as of yet, but we're going real soon. And so we'll do some filming there and bring you up to speed as it relates to what's happening in other countries. Today, man, I just really want to kind of express the feeling of disunity, the fragmented relationships that some of us have experienced and are experiencing. And hopefully we can talk about solutions today, things that will help us mend those broken relationships and strengthen them moving forward. So today I want to talk about the structure of relationships, how those pair in everyday life, whether it's social, economic, whether it's romantic and otherwise. I think relationships are key components to bridging the gap of disunity, okay? The thing that really troubled me as of late is listening to the criticism of Bronny James. I want to start with that because it'll help us kind of springboard into further dialogue. And feel free to chime in, place something in the comment section, let us know what you think, give us some opinions, point us to greater facts or even greater insight as to the subject that we're talking about today. But Bronny James, to me, has been a serious vocal point of the latest dialogue. Now, everybody's not into sports. A lot of people haven't chimed in to give their opinions. A lot of people have probably not even looked into it. But I just kind of want to talk from the standpoint of, number one, he's a young person. He's connected to the sports community. He's also the son of a famous player that we all know about. He's well branded. He's well exposed. And that's hard in itself. There's a lot of stress that comes along with being the son of a famous parent, okay? And the comparison is not fair, no matter how you spin it. I know he has his namesake, but they're two different people. LeBron James Sr. is the father. LeBron James Jr. is the son. They're different human beings. They're different in a lot of ways. They're different in stature, physical, makeup, all the above. And so I think we're giving this kid a hard time over something. Yes, it was political. Yes, it was influenced and even probably carried out by his father. But as we all know, if we were in that same position, we probably would have done the same and probably done it faster, okay? LeBron James Jr., as I forestated, does not have anything to do with who his parents are. You know, the family that he was born into, the family that raised him. I'm sure he loves his family, and I'm sure he wouldn't want it any other way. But we cannot put all this pressure on this young person and then ruin the possibility of having a clear view of his person. We're looking at this kid, we're judging him, we're critiquing him, we're sizing him up, and we don't even know him personally. There are people that do know him, obviously his college teammates, his fellow students at USC, his high school classmates, and former teammates. Of course, they know him a lot better than we do. We don't know Bronny James the way some of the others do. However, he's still a human being. And I wanted to use him as an example of how relationships consistently and rapidly they just go haywire. They just go so many different ways. And I just think that a lot of times we have to show some compassion. You know, we have to show some concern about other people's feelings, okay? This is not a soap opera. I'm not creating this platform and this conversation as if it is one, but I do want your comment. I want you to really take a look at Bronny's situation and do a comparison contrast to your own. What are some of the things that are happening in your life and in your relationships that you would like to see change, that you would like to move forward with, and some that you would like to dissolve? And I think it's our perception of one another, it's our personal feelings towards one another, it's the emotion that's behind it, it's all of these different things that we encounter and we push on other people, okay? So if Bronny James, as a human being, a young, thriving basketball player who's now in the NBA, or at least he's been drafted and he's getting ready to sign a guaranteed contract, he will have a place in history. Regardless of how well he does, how well, if at all he fails, he's still a part of history. And so I just think that we have to balance our emotional state, our personal preferences, our personal feelings towards other people. And how do we actually look at Bronny's situation and fix our own? A lot of us have issues in our personal life, in our relationships with siblings, friends, whatever case may be. But how do we go about fixing it? How do we make a change? Is it even possible to fix some of these broken relationships? And if we don't fix them, let's just say we don't reach a resolve, can we actually get to that place of moving on in a healthy way? Or are we going to walk around holding grudges, bringing up the past, pointing the finger, and blaming others for the way we feel? And I know people have done many things to us. People have lied on us and done some hurtful things. But can we reach a place of forgiveness? Can we forgive those individuals and maybe communicate how we feel? And let's just say some people don't want to talk. They don't want to mend it. How do we handle that moving forward? I think what we do is we do the best that we can do to resolve it, to reconcile it. If it cannot be fixed, at least you've done your part. Now you can move on. You can freely start other relationships and not feel bound to what happened between you and someone else. There are serious issues with relatives, with siblings, with close friends and acquaintances. And a lot of times when these situations don't pan out, we create problems outside of that primary issue by sharing these things with other people. Now we're putting people business in the streets. We're telling other people negative things so that person will side up with you or take your view, and that's just not cool. That's never cool when you are trying to move forward in a healthy, productive way. So I'm really at a crossroads, not with how I see resolve and how I view reconciliation, but I'm at a crossroads with how long do I or should we try to make a situation work? How long should we work at it? Is there a statute of limitations on mending a broken relationship? And I think that's food for thought. And many of you can actually respond to that because you have been a part of situations that are similar and may be going through one right now. And so how do we sort of apologize, reconcile, and bury the hatchet? Will these relationships ever prosper again between the two parties? Will the resolve ever come? I don't know, and I think it's something for all of us to work on. I think it's something for each and every one of us to consider. Where do we start? How do we start? I'm gonna say, in my opinion, there's several steps to creating a healthy relationship with someone else. First and foremost, we got to take a look inside. We got to take a look at ourselves. We got to look at the role and the part we played in whatever dispute and whatever disagreement we were a part of. What was our part in that? Could we have done it differently? Could we approach it from another angle? What does that look like in real time? And I think a lot of times we're just not accountable. We lack accountability for the wrong that we do, the things that we say, and the way that we are. And I hear people say all the time, well, I'm who I am, I'm not going to change. Accept me or reject me. I don't care. And I don't think that that's showing compromise. And I'm not saying be someone that you're not. I'm saying that sometimes you have to compromise. You have to do what needs to be done for the better of the team, for the better of the situation, for the other person. And we're real quick to speak negatively about each other. We're real quick to point the finger, and we're real quick to dismiss it. And I'm not saying that we have to agree, but we shouldn't disagree to be disagreeable. Okay? We should agree to not agree, if that makes any sense. And so I'm kind of fed up. I'm kind of tired of seeing unnecessary friction take place over, I would say, characteristics, things that, are a part of us that we don't really want to recognize, we don't really want to see, and we don't really want to get rid of. A lot of things transpire based on what's inside of us, how we think, and how we approach situations. And none of us are perfect. We're all prone to error, and we just don't have the capability to perfect anything. We just don't. And so today has been an overwhelming day for me, in a sense, because I'm processing a situation that I really don't have a lot of control over. And I think from my position or my viewpoint or vantage point, I think that if I had a little more communication, a little more I would say, leniency, I think we can find resolve. And I want to say to each and every one that's really listening, let's not take social media and the internet literally. Meaning, you got to read between the lines on certain conversations that are happening, certain situations that appear to us from social media platforms. People will say and people will do just about anything to gain attention. People are not always honest and forthright about too much of anything. And so we cannot find ourselves comparing our lives with other people's lives and what we think their lives consist of and the things that we think they have or they may accumulate and expect that to be real for us. All of us have our own lives to live. We have our own situations to deal with and to manage, and it's not easy. But I think what makes it worse is when we incorporate lies, other people with negative feedback or negative input, and it creates a huge fiasco. And so I don't want to sound like I'm rambling, but this was something that really needed to be talked about. This is something that really needed to be addressed and have it done in a way to where we can actually benefit from the solution. Talking about it, putting it on the table. What will it take for us as urban Black American people to get along, to actually, make things work? Now, I know no matter what some of us do, no matter what some of us say, there's always somebody that really doesn't want to get along. They really don't want justice, right? They don't really want situations to be copacetic. They thrive on trouble. They thrive on confusion, conflict, and all of these different things. However, we can still do our part. We can still try to find a way to create a happy medium, okay? If you are experiencing difficulties in your relationship, difficulties with life's issues, do you have anybody to talk to? Is there anyone you can call on? Is there anyone that would substantiate where you are in life? And how do we go about providing help? Is there help out there for us? Or do we feel like we're just on an island? There's no help at all. I don't believe that there's no help at all. I just believe that we have to seek out the things that are troubling us. Some people don't know what's troubling them. However, we still have to reach out to someone. This is why we have such a high teen suicide rate. We have a high suicide rate overall. Some places are more prevalent than others, but I think that a lot of people feel like they didn't have anybody to talk to. Nobody was there. Nobody understood them. Nobody heard them. And I don't want that to take place in your life or in my life because we felt no one was there to hear us. And so when you start to look at how society, I'll just say the sports community has tried to pounce on Bronny James, that is not easy for any person. And we don't know to the magnitude of what is going on in his head, what his thought process is. I remember reading about a student athlete at UCLA. I think this was pre-pandemic, or it could have been right when the pandemic started. And he was a talented player. He was out of the Los Angeles Valley area. He was, I think, probably one of the top 10 prep players in his class. I don't know if it was, his last name was Honeycutt, but I do remember reading about him committing suicide. Suicide note was left by his body, and it was just horrific. It was sad to hear. It was sad to see and experience a young person with such a bright future take his own life. And so my appeal really today is to create dialogue. Let's talk. Let's work it out. Let's work through it. Let's be forthright, honest with ourselves, and let that be the center of our start. Okay, being honest, being accountable. Let that be the launching pad for each and every one of us, so that we can find some form of resolve. And so I know that this is short. I know that it's not your typical topic discussion, but it was just really on me. It was something that I wanted to release because I've talked to parents, I talked to school-age kids, and you would be surprised of what people think and what they go through emotionally because of what they thought someone thought about them or said about them. And sometimes it's just far from the truth. Other times it really does happen. People mistreat other people. And I'm an advocate for justice. I'm an advocate for love, for compassion, for continuity in relationships. I want to see those things form organically and positively, so that we will be a better people, a better community moving forward. We need to support entrepreneurs, urban African American entrepreneurs. We need to support them. We need to encourage them. We need to support education at all levels, from grade school to middle school to high school to college. We need to talk more about scholastic achievement. We need to esteem one another and stop idolizing and putting entertainers and athletes on pedestals because they make a lot of money or they're on television. Well, a lot of those professional athletes are educated. They finished their degrees. They worked hard in the classroom. So they're actually modeling the holistic athlete. And then we have some professionals who didn't get an opportunity to finish college, but they're extremely bright. They have accomplished many and great things, and we need to talk about that. We need to talk about their plight, how they weren't able to finish their education, but they got into their career and they become a success. We need to talk about all that. We need to stop singling out people for the negative, for the worst, okay? And let's build on those things, and let's encourage each other to do better. So I appreciate you tuning in. I'm gonna ask if you would like, subscribe, share, ring the notification button so that you'll be abreast as to when we're airing another episode. And thank you so much for all of your encouragement. Thank you for helping us monetize this situation and getting the word out. I appreciate you so much. I'm signing off. This episode is coming to a stop, and we're looking forward to being back with you in the next coming days, okay? Take care. Peace. I'm out.